Welcome to a Greek moment here. This is a lesson on the imperfect, middle, and passive indicative, and a few other miscellaneous things. Those miscellaneous things are miscellaneous enough, I'll just introduce them on this screen here. Do remember my full Greek classes at the Potter's School, at the American Lutheran Theological Seminary, and a full range of campus ministry and hopefully thought-provoking items at Wittenberg Door Campus Ministry, wittenbergcomo.com. Well, we'll be meeting the middle and passive indicative for the imperfect tense, and we remember that the imperfect tense indicates ongoing or repeated action in the past, and that the passive voice indicates the action happens to the subject, while the middle voice indicates the subject doing something for his or her own benefit. Now we also want to meet a few miscellaneous things. Number one, this is about neuter plural subjects. All right, imagine you have a neuter plural subject such as gifts or children, and those subjects normally have singular verbs. Now, different grammar authors are, they'll have little disputes about whether that's all the time. It isn't quite all the time, whether it's almost all the time or most of the time, or almost most of the time. And people will get in different debates and identify what different authors do. In general, though, you want to be aware that neuter plural subjects, I would say, normally have singular verbs. So it looks like we're saying something like, the children, he, she, or it sleeps for a nap in the afternoon. But in fact, in English, we'll allow that neuter plural subject to have a plural verb. But in Greek, they'll have singular verbs very frequently. We also want to be aware of some little colloquialisms. If we have and something and another thing, kai something else, it means both something and the other thing. And we also want to be able to deal with the opposite. If we have ude, not, we're going to mean neither one thing nor the other thing. So it's important to realize that words can be used in slightly unusual ways. It is just Greek being Greek, as it were, instead of being English. Let's take a look at the middle and passive voice, and we remember that the middle and passive voices often look just alike, and that the middle is only rarely used. All right, take a moment. I'm not going to make you pause the recording or anything, but review those primary active endings. See if you remember them. Now, in that amount of time, you should have been able to say, o, eis, e, amen, ete, usi. And how about the primary middle and passive endings? Try those. Now, hopefully you said, o mai, e, etai, ametha, estha, antai. How about, remember those primary active and middle passive endings are used with the present stem of a verb to give us the present active, middle, or passive indicative. The secondary active endings, so far we've used, I believe, just on the imperfect tense. And so review those secondary active endings like you're making an imperfect active indicative. And I hope you said something like an, es, e, amen, ete, an. Now let's meet the imperfect, middle, and passive indicative. And here's what we see. We're going to have the epsilon augment, just like you've come to expect. And we're going to have the present stem, like you would expect. And then we're going to have these imperfect or secondary middle or passive endings. Amen, u, eta. Amatha, esthe, anta. Again, amen, u, eta. Amatha, esthe, anta. So, if the active means eluon, I was loosing, the passive, eluamen, means I was being loosed, or simply I was released. Eluu, you were being loosed. Eluata, he, she, or it was being loosed. Eluamatha, we were being loosed. Eluesthe, you all were being loosed. And eluanta, they were being loosed. There we go. Secondary, middle, or passive endings. Amen, u, eta. Amatha, esthe, anta. To form the imperfect, we have an augment, we have a present stem, and we have a secondary ending. All right, now would you like the good news? Now that you know the primary and the secondary active endings and the middle passive endings, you really have studied all the 4 groups of verb endings that you're really going to need and use again and again. All the other tenses are going to be matters of application, slight variations in spelling, but not very significant. Other tenses are going to have signs of the tense, kind of like you saw the augment for the imperfect tense. You're going to see other signs for other tenses. Remember, Greek is fun, and you can do it. See you next time.